I got another video for y'all. The 60 Days in season 1, episode 10. Let's get into it. So, Zach Selly's got some homemade hooch, which is alcohol, and the officers is doing a search around the pod. So Zach tries to tell them, hey, throw that shit out. He try to look out for them. Them niggas is like, well, if we do it, it's gonna look obvious. I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, if they find it and y'all niggas don't own up to it, I'm gonna beat the fuck out you, nigga. And they playing a dangerous game because it ain't even if they find it, then, they gonna get caught for it. The officer might just, be like, that's all y'all responsibility. This is all y'all hooch. If y'all was drinking about her, if y'all knew, whatever. So Barbara gets a new bunkie named Jessica. So Barbara is now like the OG. And she's like, I see how terrified she is. And it reminds me of my first day here. So she pretty much tells Jessica, hey, if my scary ass made it, so can you. Aw, how cute. Barbara being a little role model. Isaiah's mom comes to visit him because, the family been visiting recently and checking up on them and telling the officers in charge of the program how they've been doing. Excuse me. So it's Isaiah's mom's turn. She comes and she asks him if he got into any altercations with anybody. And he says somebody told him that they would have taken his commissary. And his mom was like, so what did you say? Isaiah was like, I told him I would have caught a homicide. She's talking about some, really, Isaiah? Over food? Hey, Mom, what you want me to do? What you want to say? Yeah, you would have taken my commissary. You would have taken my commissary and ate it in front of my face. Like, this is prison. I can't show no weakness in here. That nigga tried to check my temperature and realized he ain't like the climate. And guess what? His bitch ass never asked that shit again. And I know, and I get it. I get what type of time Isaiah mom is on of like, hey, you do something, you could really be in here. But it's like at the end of the day, this is the first day I'm in this hoe. He doing this shit to test me. On your first day, niggas is gonna try. Niggas not just gonna walk up to you in the first day and just steal you dead in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because looks are deceiving. A nigga could look like a bitch, but he might could pack a punch. Right? So your first day in this motherfucker, they not just gonna go up to you and just about action. They gotta see mentally where you at. Cause you still might be you could be a bitch, honestly. But mentally, if you at least strong and mentally, if you ready to go to war with a nigga won't even try it. Because they know you ready to go there. A lot of niggas, like Jeff, for example, Jeff got the stature of a nigga who you don't want to play with, but mentally he's a bitch. And they tried that nigga and he proved to them he was a bitch. So now they at the point where it's like, hey, we don't even got to put no action behind it. We could whoop his ass, but we not going to put no action behind it because we know this nigga's a bitch. So we could just keep we could keep threatening him. We could scare him with words. We don't have to put no action behind it. Because when they pulled that nigga's car, when they checked his temperature, it was summer. It was a very, very nice summer. It was summer 2016 with Jeff. Boy. Real nice. So yeah. So back to when the officer was searching through Zach's cell or whatever. And of course the officer finds the hooch and he brings everybody in. He's like, oh, who room is this? So he bring them in and he's like, anybody want to explain or say who this is? And this is the shit I was just talking about. The same nigga who I just told during the officer's search to throw that shit out is the same nigga sitting dead motherfucking silent in this bitch. This is crazy. So at first he was sitting silent and then he ended up coming out and being like, hey, it's mine. And the officer sat there for a minute. He was thinking about, getting all of them niggas in trouble who was in the cell because they said we knew about it. We ain't make it and we ain't get it, but we knew about it. Might have taken us a sip. So the officer sat there for a minute. He was thinking about it and he was like, nah, I'm going to just take him because he came forth. I'm like, man, that nigga playing with fire. So what further confirms that Robert was scared is that before he meets up with the officers show us a letter that Robert wrote him where he was talking about, oh, I will rather stay in segregation than go up to general population. And they, of course, wasn't going for that because it's like, nigga, you're in the program to show us and tell us about general population. You're not in the program to show us about isolation. You're not doing shit. You're not getting shit done in isolation. So, of course, they brushed that shit off. So I guess once he knew And once he was hip and once he was privy to them being like, fuck what this nigga talking about, then he was like, ugh, my stomach. So, of course, Robert goes in there and he acts a fool. He cuts up and he's like, oh, it's a cakewalk. It's too easy. And it's like, Robert, you was finna get your ass whooped multiple times. That isolation saved you. I almost wish they would have left his ass in there. Like, yeah, he toyed with the camera or whatever. But I wish that they would have left his ass in there and been like, you know, don't toy with the camera or whatever. Or if that was his way, if he was going to try to do that even more to get out, they should have been like, hey, if anybody touched the camera, then y'all all get in trouble. Like, yeah, he get in trouble the most, but y'all gonna get in trouble with him, and we gonna, you know what I'm saying, punish everybody somehow, so he could really get his ass whooped for trying to leave. But whatever. So, I mean, that's pretty much all that happened. In the girls' pod, they got into an argument because Jessica, you know, Barbara's bunkie, we was just talking about, when she's pregnant, or I don't know if she's actually pregnant or not, but she says she's pregnant, and when you're pregnant, you're supposed to take 2 trays. So, you know, she took 2 trays or whatever, and the girls handing out the trays was like, hey, you know, until we know that you're pregnant, you're not supposed to do it. And old girl already had 2 trays. So she was just like, it is what it is. Which, like, I'm on that type time of like, hey, I don't know where this bitch hands been. She done been breathing all over the food. So, like, granted, yeah, whether she pregnant or not, for today, I guess she wins. She get 2 trays a day because have you been breathing on it, putting your hands in this motherfucker? And wasn't she the one with scabies or whatever who was in that motherfucker itching herself? I did for damn sure don't want that plate. You got it. But yeah, they was like, if you not pregnant, if we find out you not pregnant, we gonna beat the fuck out you. And which, like, to me, I mean, everybody was up in an uproar, everybody was going back and forth. Who said it? I said it, I didn't say it, I blah 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 blah. And like whole time I'm like, we making a big deal out of nothing. If the bitch pregnant, it don't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? 1. 2, I don't think that's, you know, crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's crazy to say you would beat the fuck out of her for lying. I mean, hell, you don't think I want to send this motherfucker pretend to be pregnant and get 2 trays? I don't think that's crazy to say. And if you're actually pregnant, then you would have just brushed the shit off, or it wouldn't have mattered to you. I mean, you're like, yeah, damn, I don't want to be threatened, but like, at the same time, when the bitches figure out I'm pregnant, like, I mean, they know I'm not lying, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But then also, like, number 3, I guess, I take it from the aspect of, like, who really gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as I get my tray, as long as everybody in here got a tray, nobody should really give a fuck. It's one thing, like, if somebody in here gets shorted for her to get 2 trays and she not pregnant, yes, okay, yeah, I get it. Beat the fuck out of her. But, like, if all of us got our tray and she just has an extra one, like, it just is what it is. This shit don't hit that badly. I could barely even eat 1 tray of this shit, let alone getting 2 shit. I'm not trying to feed my baby this shit, no way. Motherfucker come out looking wild, nigga. Looking like Vin Diesel. But anyway, that's the end of this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, catch your fans. I'll go for the book.